The Confessions of Saint Augustine, Book 7, Chapter 14. There is no soundness in them, whom aught of your creation displeases, as neither in me, when much which you have made displeased me. And because my soul durst not be displeased at my God, it would fain not account that yours, which displeased it. Hence it had gone into the opinion of two substances, and had no rest, but talked idly. And returning thence, it had made to itself a God through infinite measures of all space, and thought it to be you, and placed it in its heart, and had again become the temple of its own idol, to you abominable. But after you had soothed my head, and known to me, and closed mine eyes that they should not behold vanity, I seized somewhat of my former self, and my frenzy was lulled to sleep, and I awoke in you, and saw you infinite. But in another way, and this sight was not derived from the flesh. Chapter 15. And I looked back on other things, and I saw that they owed their being to you, and were all bounded in you, but in a different way, not as being in space, but because you contain all things in your hand, in your truth. And all things are true so far as they, nor is there any falsehood, unless when that is thought to be which is not. And I saw that all things did harmonize, not with their places only, but with their seasons, and that you, who are eternal only, did not begin to work after innumerable spaces of times spent, for that all spaces of times, both which have passed and which shall pass, neither go nor come, but through you, working and abiding. Chapter 16. And I perceived and found it nothing strange, that bread which is pleasant to a healthy palate is loathsome to one distempered, and to sore eyes light is offensive, which to the sound is delightful. And your righteousness displeases the wicked, much more the viper and reptiles, which you have created good, fitting in with the inferior portions of your creation, with which the very wicked also fit in. And that the more, by how much they be unlike you. But with the superior creatures, by how much they become more like to you. And I inquired what iniquity was, and found it to be substance, but the perversion of the will turned aside from me, O God, the Supreme, towards these lower things, and casting out its bowels, and puffed up outwardly. Chapter 17. And I wondered that I now loved you, and no phantasm for you. And yet did I not press on to enjoy my God, but was borne up to you by your beauty, and soon borne down from you by mine own weight, sinking with sorrow into these inferior things. This weight was carnal custom, yet dwelt there with me a remembrance of you. Nor did I anywhere doubt that there was one to whom I might cleave, but that I was not yet such as to cleave to you, For that the body which is corrupted presses down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weights down the mind that muses upon many things. And most certain I was that your invisible works from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even your eternal power and Godhead. For examining whence it was that I admired the beauty of bodies celestial or terrestrial, and what aided me in judging soundly on things mutable and pronouncing, this ought to be thus, this not. Examining, I say, whence it was that I so judged, seeing I did so judge, I had found the unchangeable and to eternity of truth above my changeable mind. And thus by degrees I passed from bodies to the soul, which through the bodily senses perceives, and thence to its inward faculty, to which the bodily senses represent things external, whither to reach the faculties of beasts, and thence again to the reasoning faculty, to which what is received from the senses of the body is referred to be judged, which, finding itself also to be in me a thing variable, raised itself up to its own understanding, and drew away my thoughts from the power of habit, withdrawing itself from those troops of contradictory phantasms, that so it might find what that light was whereby it was bedewed, when, without all doubting, it cried out that the unchangeable was to be preferred to the changeable, whence also it knew that unchangeable, which, unless it had in some way known, it had no sure ground to prefer it to the changeable. And thus, with the flash of the one trembling glance, it arrived at that which is. And then I saw your invisible things understood by the things which are made. But I could not fix my gaze thereon, and my infirmity being struck back, I was thrown again on my wonted habits, carrying along with me only a loving memory thereof, and a longing for what I had, as it were, perceived the order of, but was not yet able to feed on.